That a strong statement tonight from the Florida sheriff who's been leading the state commission investigating the massacre in Parkland. He says some teachers with the proper training should have access to a gun in the classroom. CBS 4's Carrie Codd is live in Fort Lauderdale with the details, and they're reigniting a big debate tonight, right, Carrie?
That's right, Elliot. The Broward School District is against this. The Miami-Dade School District is against this. And so are a number of parents I spoke with who lost their children at Marjory Stoneman Douglas last Valentine's Day. According to the Associated Press, Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri, who chairs the Marjory Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission, plans to ask the commission to recommend a change in state law to allow teachers to volunteer to be extensively trained, then armed in the classroom. In the article, Gualtieri is quoted as saying, "We know from the history of these things that the majority are stopped by school personnel. People need to keep an open mind to it, as the reality is that if someone else in that school had a gun, it could have saved lives." The idea of arming teachers is a non-starter with Tony Montalto, whose daughter Gina was murdered in the MSD shooting. Montalto is the president of the group Stand with Parkland, which is made up of the families of all 17 murder victims.
We are unequivocally against arming teachers. It happens to be the one thing that all 17 families initially came out against.
Montalto believes a better idea is to focus on protecting campuses and keeping bad guys off school grounds.
We should hire either trained law enforcement officers or trained security professionals in order to keep our students and staff safe at school.
It does not appear that the issue of arming teachers was discussed at length at last week's MSD commission meetings. However, there was a presentation one morning last week where it was briefly mentioned.
We asked the teachers, what would you recommend? And this was just a list of whatever they said. Is arm-willing staff.
Sarah Lerner is an English teacher at Stoneman Douglas. She said she has not spoken to a single teacher who wants to be armed at school.
It was something that was brought up shortly after the shooting at my school, and it was just as foolish then as it is now.
She thinks there are too many things that could go wrong if teachers have guns.
If I had a gun in my classroom that day or any other day, and a student got a hold of it, am I now liable and responsible because a student accessed my gun?
After the Parkland shooting, there were lengthy discussions about arming teachers. Education leaders in Broward and Miami-Dade came out against it, as did state teachers union leaders. Montalto hopes it doesn't come to pass.
Arming teachers is a misguided idea. We should let teachers teach.
I spoke with Max Schachter today. His son Alex was murdered at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. He's also a member of the Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission. He said he is not in favor of arming teachers, and he would not vote for that when the commission finalizes their recommendations next month. Live in Fort Lauderdale, Carrie Codd, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Carrie.